And this week, the really big focus is Mars because there's quite a lot of tension going on with that planet who rules our will, our drive, our direction and motivation. And that tension is coming to play today and tomorrow as we're really forced to look at things in a new way, particularly to get a little bit more flexible in our approach. And I say that because Mars is at a point in the zodiac called Gandanta. Now, there are three Gandanta points in the zodiac, and it's wherever a planet goes from a water to a fire sign. I'm going to explain the significance of that now as we talk about Mars. Now, Mars will be Gandanta, and Gandanta is literally like this karmic knot, this sense of like churning inside, and it will be taking place from the 7th to 8th. So from today and tomorrow, as it moves from Scorpio to Sagittarius in the sidereal uh, astrology and with the constellations. So we really start the week with a bang because Mars is moving out of its time in Scorpio, which is watery, it's intuitive, and it's moving into Sagittarius, which is fire, optimism, expansion. And so there's some natural tension that's going to be happening within us and also in the world around us. And knowing that, events that take place outside of us, particularly Sunday, Monday, are reflections of the energy we are processing within us. And just notice today, because Mars will be moving out of a water sign, it's still in Scorpio, but it's right at the end. It can almost feel like this flooding energy. You might hear about floods externally in the news, but internally it can like the sense of like inner steam and flooding going on. And what's so important about this movement with Mars and why I'm pulling it out as the big theme for this week is Mars is going to be going from a fixed water sign, which is Scorpio. And Scorpio, like Mars in Scorpio, it rules Scorpio in traditional astrology and Vedic astrology. Mars in Scorpio, it's headstrong. It wants to dive deep into the truth to really get to the bottom of what is true. It can be really intense in that pursuit and very unyielding. What's going to happen though, as it moves into Sagittarius today and tomorrow, is there's going to be the need for all of us to get a little bit more flexible. You might find that you're called to even question your direction. Maybe you thought you had it all worked out. You thought exactly, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm heading. And as Mars sits at this Gandanta point, the question is almost, do you? Are you maybe being a little bit too fixed in how you see the world, a little bit too fixed in how you think your path needs to go? And in that, you're not seeing the opportunities and you're probably not maybe even open to the opportunities that the universe is pushing towards you. You can find that that sense of like concrete, this is the direction I'm heading, this is what I'm doing, has really been at play since the 28th of October. And as Mars moves into Sagittarius, like I said, like which will probably take place tomorrow, but we'll be feeling it today. It's like the universe is like, hold up, hold up. Because Mars at another level within the Vedic astrology way of thinking is moving out of a tamasic energy, which it's been in since the beginning of June. And when Mars has been in these tamasic signs, it can really feel like you're stuck. You're wanting to carry out what is already in place, like not really wanting to change what you're doing, wanting to continue what you're doing, not really open to suggestions from other people, even if it doesn't serve you, even if you feel like you're at the point of burnout right now. And it's almost that sense of like Mars is like, just let's just keep going. Just like, let's just get to the end of the year. Let's just do it. And this Gandanta point is like, hold up. Because as Mars moves into Sagittarius, it calls for you to get really honest with yourself, to see where you have been expending energy because you don't want to be with yourself, where you are tuning out your inner connection. And that can be through alcohol, drugs, eating, shopping, social media, even planning that next goal, that next thing you want to achieve outside of you instead of going within. And there can almost be the hope as well of like just wanting to crash out. Like, let me just get to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and let me just crash after my full on week. And so today, tomorrow, until May 2026, Mars is going to be working through signs that are encouraging a more sattvic energy. And what this means is you are being called to find a balance in your being, a balance between doing and being. It's all about refining your actions, working out where you're even moving from, why it is that you want certain things in life, and like what's driving that. The way I like to think about this for myself is, am I running on dirty fuel? And dirty fuel tends to be like, I'm trying to prove myself to other people, I'm trying to get external validation, be that money, awards, credibility from other people. Or am I running on clean fuel? And clean fuel is like that inner sense of like, this just feels right. This feels in flow. This feels like my thing to do. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else says around you. So this can be a really big question. And the big thing that Mars is going to be doing from this week through to May 2026 is really getting us to consider how we are serving not just ourselves, but the world, something bigger than us. And this point, the 7th to the 8th of December, marks an initiation into this energy. It's going to be the hardest point of the period. And it's very much about your drive. There can just expect Sunday, Monday, there can be a lot of inner churning, the need to be really honest with yourself, particularly if you don't particularly enjoy the direction that you're heading, to kind of let go of that need to just do it because it's there, and really asking yourself, like, do I have to? Is this really aligned? And there can be inner resistance to that change that comes up Sunday, Monday. So just be prepared for that. This can be a week where, when it comes to your direction in life, when it comes to your motivation, when it comes to the relationship with your body, you really need to prune, uproot, and get to the bottom of what's driving you. What is sitting at the heart of your motivation and the way in which you expend energy in the world? Like, are you just expending energy to distract yourself, or is it giving you something back? Physically, this Gandanta point aligns with the third eye. So just don't be surprised if Sunday, Monday, there's a lot of tension around the forehead and the head, around the third eye energetically. And this can be energetically like the universe is trying to get you to see things in a new way, trying to get you to be more flexible than that fixed, narrow point of view you've been carrying with you since June. Use this week for growth, to let the universe show you where you're stuck. And instead of just keeping on going, instead of just like bulldozing through, stop and look up and just work out if you're even going the right direction. Particularly if you're hitting the end of the year and you're exhausted. Do you need a break? Do you need to spend some time by yourself? What do you need? And in that space, giving yourself time to reflect on what you're even doing. And it's okay if that gets a bit existential. Sagittarius can occasionally be a bit existential. The other thing to mention this week is Neptune stationary. It's going to be stationary direct, but it's stationary for most of the week. So in and amongst that Mars Gandanta energy, just don't be surprised if you're just a little bit more sensitive than normal. If things are a little bit more draining than normal. And the call, I'll talk about it in a little bit as we go through the daily astrology, but the call here is really be discerning with your energy. If you need to retreat from life, if you need to spend some time at home, do it. And just be aware that sometimes when Neptune's really strong, we can't always see truth from fiction. We can't always see what's intuition and what's projection. So be really careful with the judgments that you make, and particularly where you point the fingers at others, like, I don't like their energy or I don't like being around them. Go in, find out what that is about within you. Now, before we get into the daily astrology, I'll just quickly mention there is an incredible free conference coming up that I'm talking at called the True Sidereal Conference. It starts on the 8th of December this week. It will go till the 13th. It's free to register. In it, I'll be talking about the nakshatras, which are the Vedic lunar mansions, which I always mention in the daily astrology. So if you want to learn more about them, just as a nice starting point, Sign up, check it out. There's a bunch of other amazing speakers talking all around true sidereal, gene keys, and human design. I'll put the link below. Now, Sunday, the 7th of December. Oof, today. Just be aware, Mars is Gandanta. Mars is hitting that karmic knot. But let's start by talking about the moon. The moon is sitting in Gemini today. So we're starting the week with the moon in Gemini. It is sitting in a part of Gemini ruled by Jupiter called Purnavasu. And Jupiter has just moved back into Gemini and is also sitting in Purnavasu. So although Mars is bringing this deep tension like right down in the body, Jupiter is wanting us to expand. The moon is wanting, like the mind is wanting to expand, to see the bigger picture. Even asking questions like, why? And just being open and having like a natural level of curiosity with the answer that comes. It's really a day of new beginnings, like being open to new beginnings, to new direction. And this is might be starting today, but it will definitely be building over the next 2 days. So just be really aware of where you're being very fixed in your views, very concrete in your plans, and almost like unwilling to budge. Because you can find that when you are, you'll miss the bigger picture that the universe is trying to show you. And to see that bigger picture, it requires a level of faith in the universe, a level of trust that the universe really does have you, that you don't have to do this all by yourself. In fact, you're never by yourself. So just be aware of that. The universe is really trying to direct you to higher knowledge, not to get bogged down in the detail, but to see the bigger picture, even if you can't know the future, just to assume that the universe does what it does. And it's taking you to a level where it's wanting you to understand not the detail, but the bigger energy at play. This is a day to really hold lightly and be open to scrapping plans, particularly plans that might be eventuating that you started planning in June or even in October this year. Be really open to changing, molding, being flexible with those, um, and giving up control as best as you can. It's not an energy that comes naturally to Mars, which will still be sitting in Scorpio. It's not natural. It's not really like, well, it's not really something that comes natural to humans, is it? Or to our ego. It likes the semblance of control. If you can, practice giving up control so that you can embrace the redirection that the universe is bringing through. It can really feel like something needs to be transmuted, transformed, or ended today, that you've been holding on to. And at the same time, it's a day for revitalization. There might actually be a bit of a relief in that, like not having to follow through on that thing because maybe your heart wasn't really in it. So, just be aware as well, there might be rain in the atmosphere today, but there's rain within you, and it's the type of rain, like the elemental energy of rain, which is about watering something, not ruining your day, but watering what needs to grow. Now, Mars is going to be Gandanta today, and I'm going to give you the times for the Gandanta, so you can watch it yourself. You can keep track of when it will be. Mars in Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, Mars will be Gandanta from the 7th at 12:27 a.m. until the 8th at 8:17 a.m. If you're in Rome, Mars will be Gandanta from Saturday the 6th at 2:27 p.m. until Sunday evening at 10:17 p.m. And if you're in New York, it will be Gandanta from Saturday the 6th at 8:27 a.m. until Sunday afternoon at 4:17 p.m. That's when this energy will be most tense. You can find that that's when you're really getting to the heart of this energy around what direction am I heading? Do I need to scrap my plans? Do I need to do something different? It really represents a turning point in your direction, a turning point that has been coming since June. And it's a turning point in how you take action, how you decide to react to the world, and even what you feel called to do. It can feel like the universe is stirring up inner tension within you, like I said, particularly around the head area, calling for you to be flexible. And when we decide not to be flexible, we can find that the universe changes our plans for us. Things don't come off that we wanted them to. Opportunities that we thought were locked in just don't manifest because there's something else we need to be looking at. It's really this idea of just holding things lightly, holding actions lightly, not being attached to outcomes, because we think we can see how things should be, and we therefore think we know the right action to take, but very often we don't. The universe is taking into account everything that has ever been, the codependence of everything, and is always working for our highest good. So just consider looking up. Consider that the universe might be helping you see a bigger picture. Consider that the universe might be setting you up for something even bigger, or helping you get to the bottom of maybe like the fatigue, the burnout that you've been feeling. Like Sunday, be really gentle on yourself. The energy can present as you needing to slow down or being slowed down by the universe, particularly through tension in the head and neck. In a way, this is a moment to consider the idea that maybe you don't know. Maybe it's okay if plans don't work out. Maybe it's okay to try not to change the world to mold how you think it should be. Maybe the world is perfect just as it is. So, also on Sunday, Mercury is going to enter Scorpio. It will be in Scorpio until the 29th of December. And this is in sidereal astrology, remember? So, if you looked up, you can't see it in the night sky at the moment, but if you had an app and you search for Mercury, it would be sitting at the start of the Scorpio constellation from today. And it will be joining most of the personal planets who are sitting in Scorpio: Sun, Venus, Mars, who's there very briefly until tomorrow, and the Black Moon Lilith. So this can really spark when Mercury is in Scorpio until the 29th of December. Just be aware it can spark a period of deep diving into conversations, talking about topics that are normally off limits, being kind of intense with your ideas. And just be aware, because Mars is going to be encouraging you to have some flexibility towards from tomorrow onwards. Just be careful that your ideas aren't too fixed, that you're open to seeing things in other ways, which isn't a natural way of being in Scorpio. You can find that this is also, while Mercury is in Scorpio, a time to express yourself, express how you're feeling, really trust your intuition about the people around you. And most importantly, it's a really great position to ask for help. It's okay. It's actually not weak to ask for help. It's incredibly strong. If you know you need more help at the moment, if you know you need more support, this is the time to ask. Be really gentle on your system today, Sunday, because the position of Mercury to the moon can make it really easy to push to overdo things and get burnt out quite quickly, particularly if you're already at that stage. A great remedy for this energy is to do what is nourishing. Instead of doing everything you said you would do what you have the energy to do, and do what will give you energy. It's a great day. Like I said, ask for help if you need it. Take care of the body and mind and reach out for support. Now, the other thing happening on Sunday, very quietly in the background, the sun, which rules Sunday, will be in alignment with the Great Attractor. And you might be like, what is the Great Attractor? Good question. No one really knows. It's a gravitational force that our Milky Way is being pulled towards. So it's bigger than the galactic center, which we often talk about. This sits so far out that no one's quite sure what it is, but it's a gravitational anomaly, and it pulls us as a galaxy towards it. So you might think of this as the ultimate gravitational center of the known universe. As such, there can be some strange energy at play today. Like, even though all this stuff's going on with Mercury and Mars and the moon, you can find that underneath it, there's something calling you into yourself, like almost this need to cleanse, to see the bigger picture. Um, and it can even bring moments of clarity, the need for silence. You might find that you have dreams of nothing, which is the ultimate dream, the ultimate deep sleep. You might find there's moments where the brain almost like it glitches and it doesn't think for a second. And that's giving you a view of that gravitational force, which is Brahma, which is the unmanifest everything, the divine that is beyond name, form, all of that. So enjoy. Now, Monday, the 8th of December, we enter the 4th day of the lunar fortnight. So we are 4 days past the full moon last week, which means this is Ganesha's day, which I'll talk about in a second. But let's start with the moon again. The moon is going to move out of Gemini into Cancer. Here, which is really nice with Mars's Gandanta, it's a call to flow, to allow, to embrace, and be receptive. Move with nature, not against it. The moon will be in a lunar mansion ruled by Saturn called Pusha. So this can be in a day which actually gives you the ability, gives the mind the ability to see the bigger picture, more so than Sunday. There can even be a sense of a new chapter opening, one where there's a little bit of optimism, the call to explore, to get a little bit more curious than you were on Sunday. And at a practical level, this can be a great day to consider where you need to expand your life, what opportunities you need to look at or investigate. And that might be the call to study, the call to learn more about something, the desire to travel, and even to spiritualize that energy by going within. At a practical level, again, that can even be things like traveling not just to visit a destination, but as a pilgrimage, as a sacred adventure. This is a deeply spiritual day. It's a very wise day because it's ruled by Saturn. The moon is ruled by Saturn, and you can find that there's just a natural call to worship something bigger than you, which is what Mars is asking for. Where you're called into deeper sadhana, deeper spiritual practice, particularly if you've kind of like slipped off whatever your daily routine is, whether that's a mindfulness routine, whether that's sadhana or a spiritual practice, mantra, meditation, whatever it is, if that's kind of not been happening or there's not been discipline to do it recently, this is a day where you can find the mind naturally wants to fall in back into doing that. It's a day to connection. It's a day to deepen your connection to your guru, whatever that guru is. It can be nature, it can be an embodied being, it can be the sky, whatever it is. To deepen your connection to your practice, to your inner guru, your inner spiritual teacher. And that can be even more intense because the moon will be aligned with the asteroid Parvati. And Parvati is deeply devotional and loving. So there's like this longing within this moon, and it's not a longing for the personal, it's a longing for the spiritual. Now, Mars is going to finish up its Gandanta today, but it will have moved out of Scorpio and it will be moving into Sagittarius. And in particular, the first part of Sagittarius, which is known as Mula Nakshatra, which means there will be tension. There will be a lot of getting to the bottom of why it is you act the way that you act, why it is you're following the direction that you're following, and if that's even right, like getting really honest with yourself. And that's because Mars in Mula Nakshatra will align with the galactic center. That's the center of the Milky Way, not the Great Attractor, which sits further out, but that's the center of our Milky Way, where we are located in time and space. And it will be in Mula Nakshatra until the 25th of this month, so Christmas Day. Now, Mula is a lunar mansion, which some of you might recognize the name Mula. It means root. Mulandhara, which is the root chakra, they're related to each other. So it's all about getting to the bottom of things. And with Mars there, it can really stir up energy around the base chakra. If Sunday it was up here, this today it can kind of move down to the base. It can bring to the surface old fears around relationships, love, partnership, even the fear of being alone. And at the same time, this is a place where you're called to find greater harmony in your actions and motivation. It's calling for you to be flexible, to open up to opportunities you couldn't see before. And that can be opportunities to study something new, to travel somewhere new, to connect with a new teacher, a guide, or even connect with your father, whether he's in this realm or not, whether you're in contact or not. Now, while Mars is in Mula until the 25th, you can find that you need to prune some things in your life. That one of the things this Gandanta point, this pressure that Mars is putting you under as it moves from Scorpio to Sagittarius, is really getting you to work out what you need to stop doing, what you need to stop chasing, what's just not worth it, what is costing you too much. And in some cases, that might actually mean that you come to the point where you realize there's a certain relationship you need to end or draw to a close. You can also find that there's something that needs to be removed from your life. And there might even be an unwillingness, particularly in the morning, on Monday morning, an unwillingness to really do that or to really face that. Just notice the universe will step forth to help you in a very Kali fashion. Now, be really careful today, but also through to the 25th, because this can also be a period with Mars in, well, yeah, Mars in this position where there can be a bit of self-doubt, feeling unsure, or not having the courage to follow through things, particularly if your plans had to change, particularly if what you thought you were doing didn't happen. Self-doubt can naturally arise. And that's because the ego is realizing it's not in control and it's not in charge. So then it turns in on itself. Just know it's okay. And if you feel that self-doubt or that lack of surety or insecurity coming up, be with it, pay attention to it. Just know that what hasn't happened or what didn't take off or what didn't happen Sunday, Monday is a blessing. You might not see it until the end of the week, though. Now, just note as well, while Mars is in Sagittarius, so it will be in Sagittarius till mid-Jan, but it will be in Mula until the 25th of December, but it will move into other lunar mansions. There are there's 3 lunar mansions in Sagittarius, so there'll be 2 more lunar mansions it moves into. And during that period until mid-Jan, it will aspect Saturn. So there's a really big call from now through to mid-Jan just to be really considered with your actions, to slow things down, to see the karmic repercussions of what you're doing. And also just notice if things do draw to a close during that time, if opportunities don't come to fruition, if partnerships come to close, it's because the karma is done. Finally, Monday, it is Ganesh Chaturthi. Like I said at the beginning, it's the 4th day of the lunar fortnight. And it feels to me like with all the energy at the beginning of this week, it's the perfect day for this. Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. He is incredibly important in understanding our karma, in our astrology, in our connection to the cosmos. He's the giver of wisdom as well. If you feel called, pray to him. Use mantra to invoke him. And even ask for help in whatever it is you're encountering from him as a form of the divine within the universe, as a form of wisdom within the universe. It's the perfect day to do it. If you don't know his mantra or you want a bit more info on how to do that, I'll put a link below, which will help. Tuesday, the 9th of December, I'd be saying slow down. The moon is still in Cancer, but it's going to get to the final nakshatra in Cancer, known as Ashleisha. And for any of you that have been watching these videos for a while, I've spoken a bit about Ashleisha. It represents the crab claw. And it's said that this is the place within the Cancer constellation that holds the karmas of the Cancer constellation. So it means business. Now, because of that, it's a day where it holds a choice. You can use this energy to hurt or you can use it to heal. It is very much a choice. The moon will be touching a Gandanta point. I spoke about it with Mars. Mars was sitting in that Gandanta point between Scorpio and Sagittarius. Well, the moon is going to be hitting a Gandanta point much quicker and for much less time. It sits between Cancer and Leo, again, water to fire sign. And just be aware there can be a bit of churning today, not for as long as Mars did it, but just a little bit of feeling uncomfortable or almost like, oh, here we go again. So Ashleisha, it's ruled by Mercury and it's associated with the Nagas, the snake divine beings that guard occult wisdom, but can equally sting with their venom. So as such, you can find that there's energy that can pop up today from your childhood to do with children, or if you have a romantic connection where things aren't quite locked down, where it's not really like a formal agreement, but they're buzzing around you. There can be tension around these areas of life and a call for you to really look within instead of spitting venom outside. Like really see, what do you need to heal? What is this part of your life showing you that needs healing within you? So really, if you can, just go within, find the deeper wisdom the universe is showing you through this challenge. The moon will still be with Parvati, the asteroid, so the energy is also calling for you to use that tension to find divinity in it. Instead of rejecting someone because they uh, create that tension within you, because their value system maybe doesn't align with yours. Instead, see if you can dedicate yourself to what lives behind that. It doesn't mean like forgetting what's happening or overlooking everything that's happening. Definitely feel it, be the human in it, but also find the divine that is living in that person and also living within you. Venus is continuing her ride through Scorpio on Tuesday, and she's going to enter a nakshatra called Jyeshta. She'll be there till the 20th. It's the final nakshatra of the final lunar mansion in Scorpio. It's the nakshatra that Mars has just come out of with that Gandanta energy. And so just pay attention, because while Venus is here, it can feel like you're not getting what you want, that there are almost the sense of like you've made a mistake or a partner has made a mistake, the sense of feeling a little bit unlucky with money, relationships, and love, and almost that sense of like regret. Why did I do that? Do not judge yourself too quickly. Because when we have anything, when we have Venus in Jyeshta, it's really a period where not getting what you want or not getting what you think you want will turn out to be a huge stroke of luck. Remember, the universe doesn't make mistakes. Even when it feels like you make a mistake, you are the universe. There's no mistakes. Everything is there for enlightenment. And it's calling you to see the advantage, the wisdom, or the opportunity in not getting what you want. Now, it feels to me when I look at that, it feels like that energy of not getting what you want really relates to the material world. It relates to money, to your sense of self-worth. And maybe if you're like selling or buying anything at the moment, like a possession, could be a home, could just be negotiating pay. It's that type of energy. This can be the place where it's like, I'm like, why? I'm not getting what I'm not getting what I thought I would get. Just also really be discerning as well while Venus is in Jyeshta until the 20th of December of alliances that you make, because we can tend to not make the best alliances in this position. Particularly if you're working with someone to sell something, to buy something, just be very discerning with who you choose. And just note that part of Venus's lesson while she's in Jyeshta is showing you that, I'm going to repeat myself, not getting what you want can be a brilliant stroke of luck. But, well, because it will show you a new way of seeing the world. It's setting you up for something bigger in the future. And as much as we love to think that we know what happens in the future, myself included, we don't. Even in astrology, it's cosmic possibilities. It's not cosmic surety. Wednesday, the 10th of December, the moon is going to move into Leo. It will be in the first lunar mansion, nakshatra, of Leo called Marga. And Marga is ruled by the South Node. And Mars is going to be aspecting Marga. So, as such, oh, sorry, I take that back. The moon is going to be aspecting the South Node. As such, this is a day that can feel deeply introverted, constricting. It's pushing you into your body to feel, and there can be a desire to even spend maybe a little bit more time at home, more time with people that you live with, or more time with people that feel like your family, that feel like your foundations. There can be almost this sense of like seeking safety in other people. There can be a lot of past life energy at play today because Marga is ruled by the South Node and the South Node is sitting with the moon. You can find that if there's people you have soul contracts with, not just from this life, there can be a sense of deja vu around that, even like a karmic familiarity that's at play. There can also be the opportunity to start something new today in your home, with your family, with those that you have a really deep sense of like kinship or belonging with, as a result of the chapter that has been closing and things that have been moving on from Monday with what's going on with Mars. In fact, it can be a day where belonging, feeling connected are, and even protecting yourself a little bit, are central to this moon. And you can find that protection by being at home or being around people that feel like home to you. It can be a really beautiful way to regulate. Now, just pay attention as well because of the placement of this moon coming out of a full moon phase. It's waning now. If you have relatives or people around you that are in transitional phases, particularly leaving their body, this can be a moon that brings that about. At another level, it's the call to bring an end to a chapter in your home life so that a new one can come about. It can feel like things are physically changing in the home. Not for all of us, for some of us. that's allowing new energy to enter. Now, at the highest level, this is a moon to connect to your ancestors because the Pitris, the ancestors, rule Magha Nakshatra, this part of Leo. And you can find that there's a deep spiritual energy again today. And I would be saying to you, just tune in. See if you can see how maybe there are patterns that you're repeating in your partnership or with your family that are ancestral. Like maybe the type of relationship you have, maybe where you live, maybe the desire to not live where your family lives is actually a repeated pattern through your ancestral lineage. Really pay attention. You can see almost like just how small you are in the scheme of all the people that have come before you. Also, today on Wednesday, Mercury is going to enter Anurata, the second lunar mansion of Scorpio. So I spoke about before, it entered Scorpio the day. Now it's in Anurata. And I'd be saying to you, like, this can bring forth, it's there till the 20th of December. This can bring forth difficult but very rewarding conversations, allow you to see the wisdom that you were experiencing, particularly the setbacks you might have experienced when Mercury was retrograde, particularly between the 10th and the 21st of November. It can be a day where if there were things that were put off during that Mercury retrograde period, they come back. Or people that you maybe didn't respond to emails, messages, or calls, they get back in contact with you now, like ready to do things, ready to pursue something, or for you to understand why something didn't happen. Mercury will be sitting with the Black Moon Lilith as this happens. So there is a deep desire for truth, to follow what is unconventional, because that is very often, well, it always is, following what is true, even if it ruffles other people's feathers. You might find you can be a bit more brave in conversations as well, kind of like pointing out what you're seeing or pointing out what you're perceiving, and that might ruffle people's feathers. As Anurata is ruled by Saturn, there can be a real seriousness to the energy around Mercury until the 20th. It's also an energy that wants you to plan for the long term and to really consider where you need to have conversations about ending things that no longer work. Maybe commitments that just they don't feed you. Commitments where it just feels difficult and you're not getting the result that you want. Can be a great time to have that harder conversation. There can be a particular focus over this period to the 20th on conversations around the future. Maybe speculations that you were making around how the future is going to play out, even if that was just talking about an investment or something to go with the share market, or even plans with your children, if you have them, around romantic partners and what you think is going to happen there, around what you might have been creating. This can be a period of time where those conversations pick back up, and there might be some change to this, like a call to actually destroy what you were thinking. Now, Neptune stations direct on Wednesday. And just note, it's stationary for most of this week. And so it brings this really liminal energy. It can also bring to the surface like dreams, deep intuition, as well as delusion, because the two go hand in hand. So I said this at the beginning, be really discerning with this energy. It can make you extra sensitive. Okay, Thursday, the 11th of December, the moon for the next 2 days, Thursday, Friday, it's moving into the final two nakshatras in Leo, which are the Falgunis. They're collectively known as the Falgunis. Thursday, the moon moves into the first of them called Purva Falguni. And this is all about connection, both the Falgunis. They're about connection, relationships, and this particular part of Purva Falguni is all about prosperity created when two people come together. So the moon will still be sitting with the south node. It'll also be sitting with the asteroid Magdalena. There can be a really strong desire within you to partner, particularly with someone you live with or you share a sense of belonging with, or who is family. And that might even be your mother, or the energy, like that maternal energy. It's a day that can give happiness, really help you create something with another in partnership. And that might even be that, like, you're doing something on your home, you're creating something in your home, you're making food. It can be as simple as that. Even as simple as planning something with someone you live with your mother, with someone that you love, or who feels like that family like figure. This is a moon that really desires union. It wants to create alliances, and through that alliance, it wants to produce something tangible. So just know that's like the direction that the mind is taking. And it feels like the focus of that is really on belonging, home, family, foundations, your mother, and even the connection back to the maternal energy within you. Just a heads up, it's this part, like Prova Falguni is ruled by Venus. And Venus, like I said before, has just moved into Jyeshta. So there's a chance also that this energy of partnership actually relates to the older sister, to someone that feels like your older sister. They might have been your older sister in a past life. Just notice there'll be some kind of like, yeah, sisterly relationship with that. Now on Friday, the moon is going to continue in Leo and it's moving into that final nakshatra Uttara Falguni, which means the latter Falguni. There are a lot of similarities, therefore, between Thursday and Friday. There's a big focus on partnership, both intimate and business. People you have past life connections with because the moon's still with the South Node. And there can be a desire to spend time with your partner or with yourself, remembering that you are your ultimate partner, that we go externally to find that love and we get pushed back internally to realize it's already here. Now, this second part of Uttara Falguni, the second part of the Falgunis is ruled by the sun. So it's a moon that is really calling you home again. It's got a lot of that similar energy to yesterday, calling you to connect to maternal energy, your mother, being a mother, your family, your sister, people you feel you belong with or want to create a home with. There can be a sense of comfort and belonging that comes with that, as well as the opportunity to withdraw a little bit, to retreat within yourself, which can be nice under that Neptune stationary energy where things are a little bit more sensitive. One of the things with today is like it can be quite hard to lead with this energy. Like it's not really about leading others, telling others what to do. It's more a day of following and doing things in partnership with another. Okay, we finish the week Saturday, the 13th of December. The moon moves into Virgo today. It will have started that transition into Virgo late on Friday, and it lands in a nakshatra, a lunar mountain called Hasta, where we finish the week. Now, Hasta, you might have heard of me talk about it before. Hasta is the hands, and it calls for you to open your hands to allow the divine to literally place what you're looking for into them. And I really feel like this has got a link back through to that Mars Gandanta on Sunday, Monday, like having to give up plans, having to give up a trajectory or a way you thought things were going to go. Today's like keep your hands open. And maybe you're at the point where you're finally ready to surrender and open your hands to the divine. Let it place in your hands what it is that you need. Be open to receiving it. Now, the reason I say keep your hands open is Hasta can make the mind a little bit nervous because it's in Virgo and Virgo rules the adrenal system. We can tend to overthink things. We can get really busy doing, trying to fix things. We don't really always see what the universe is giving us, particularly because Virgo moon energy can be very detailed instead of looking up and seeing. It's a day at the same time where the mind can be really discerning, really bright, and an ability to really cut through stuff. Just ensure you keep your hands open, and that can be like the sense of like keeping your inner hands open, keeping the heart grateful and the preference flexible to receive. You know, very often what stops us from receiving is we think things are meant to look a certain way, and when the universe gives it to us we say, yeah, I didn't want that. Nope. The universe knows what is best for us. It is always working for our highest good. It's our preferences that create that misery and suffering. Now, this lunar mansion, Hasta, is actually ruled by the moon. So you can find that there's news that comes today about something new. Maybe that's how your hands need to open. Your hands need to open an email, open a text, be open to a conversation. Make sure you're not too distracted or too focused on something else, that you're actually able to listen to what is being said. You're actually able to read what is being communicated to you. The moon will be aspecting Saturn and Neptune, and it will be aspected by Mars. So there can be a need to act on what comes up, to make effort towards it, even slow things down and be considered in how you want to move forward with what is given to you. Just notice that this news from the divine might look at first like it's limiting or constricting, but it's just because it's not what your mind had its heart set on. It can also be a deeply creative day, like creativity that uses the hands. That could be like making bread, it could be painting, it could be pottery, it could be making a wreath, it could be anything. It's a beautiful way to give the mind space to receive, keeping it entertained, keeping it flowing by using the hands to create. So that's this week's energy. I will quickly mention that if you enjoy learning about the moon, maybe you want to learn more about how it's at play within your chart, check out the lunar subscription. There's details below. It gives you an opportunity to work with every new and full moon in depth with a personal written reading, sacred practice, and astrology forecast. And if you ever want to dive deeper, hit me up for a one-on-one reading. It would be a pleasure to read for you. I hope you have a wonderful week.